I can still remember that sensation when my dad took his supporting hand off the back of the saddle and I coasted off on two wheels under my own balance and power, a sort of grounded, free flight. Fortunately, I instinctively seemed to know what to do when I had to come to a halt, put a foot down to prevent the rest of me going down in a heap. And from that point in my early youth, it's been difficult to keep me away from a bike for very long. And now in my 70s, I'm cycling more than I ever have. I try to do 70 miles in a week, and enough to give the heart, the lungs and the legs a good workout. There are a greater number of active cyclists now than there have ever been, with bikes available at great prices and all manner of kit, clubs and opportunities to cycle, and not just in our country but across the world. France is my favourite, a country that reveres cycling, with motorists knowing how to act when sharing road space with them, quite unlike in the United Kingdom, where motorists seem to have a different centre of priorities. In other words, they think they have the right of way even when they don't, and brook no interruption to their journeys. Which is not to say that cyclists are always in the right, far from it. Think how many times you've seen cyclists pedalling gaily through red lights, careering thoughtlessly down pedestrian areas and on pavements. A recent trip to both London and Paris told me that this problem has become far worse over the last few years, not helped by these hire a bike schemes in city centres. Take your life in your hands. After the Welshman Geraint Thomas won the Tour de France in 2018, he embarked on an always wear a helmet campaign. Something of a waste of effort in my book, as many already do, and those that don't are probably past convincing. But he could have brought his considerable influence to bear on what I think are two far more pressing problems in the cycling world. Firstly, to call on cyclists to wear Hi-Viz clothing at all times, and not black only, which is very much de rigueur amongst the faster cycling male fraternity, together with their black bikes. I've always thought cyclists to be a cut above the average in the intelligence stakes, so this ought not to be a huge leap for them. They are extremely trusting, expecting motorists to see them in all circumstances. I have reasonable eyesight and I don't always see them soon enough. Many drivers have eyesight so bad that they're a liability to all other road users. Common sense ought to rule the day here. Secondly, I know that a bell is a compulsory fitting on any new bike, but how many resist the temptation to take it off straight away on the grounds of unnecessary additional weight or because it looks naff? I keep a keen eye open for bells and people who use them. There are barely any. I have a gizmo called a Hornit, which is the world's loudest cycle horn, according to their website. I have to say that it's brilliant and it's loud, warning other cyclists and pedestrians of my presence. It has the desired effect of making people look round to see what the noise is. And it inevitably raises a smile and a thank you. Yes, really. Go on, Geraint, I dare you, and in case you're wondering, I always wear bright clothing, and whilst I know it doesn't guarantee being seen, as I know to the personal loss of skin and blood, it gives me a far better chance of staying alive and uninjured. And I happen to think that mine looks rather cool.